A few weeks ago, I was just doing some normal day-to-day product research and I came across this Etsy store called Manly Mocks. Basically, they were selling t-shirt mock-ups. But when I saw the amount of sales this shop was making, I was shocked. Now, when I looked at their best-selling photo, I'm thinking to myself, but this is just a guy standing there, posing, wearing a t-shirt. And don't get me wrong, I can clearly see he's a good-looking guy, so I can see why people are buying it, but I genuinely felt like this was an easy thing to do, and frankly, anybody could be doing it. So to prove that, I thought, Mr. Manly Mocks, you're going to be getting some competition. So I took some photographs. I wanted to do it as easy as possible, so I just used my phone. A lot of us have phones with really good cameras. I used my phone and a tripod, and I took some photographs in my house. Then I just did a bit of editing using Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop. Once I was happy with the quality of the photographs, I created some product listings and I added them to Etsy. I use a software called Etsy Hunt to help me with my keyword research. And one of the best ways to use it is to look at your competitors who are doing really well, see what keywords they're using and try and use the same keywords in your product listings. So if it's not broken, we're not going to try and fix it. So I just use the same keywords that I saw Mr. Manly Mocks using. This was all very easy to do. I was able to get everything up and running within a day or so, I think. So let me show you how I got on. Now I'm sharing this with you because I want you to see what a real life seller experience is on Etsy. Not everybody can make thousands of dollars in their first day or even in their first month. I also want you to see how easy it is for you to start a side hustle completely from scratch and sell on Etsy. So let's dive in. Now I'm going to start with the first 3 weeks of opening the Etsy shop. This will show you how long it took me to make a sale. Now, after opening this Etsy store, it did take me about 3 to 5 days before I actually started to list product, because when I opened the store, I wasn't sure what I was going to sell yet, and then I came across this digital product, as I said earlier. But I do feel like my first sale came really quickly. And what was actually amazing is that I got a sale and I got a positive feedback at the same time. And I was a little bit confused because I saw the positive feedback before I saw the actual sale. So I wasn't sure how somebody was able to leave me feedback without buying an actual product from me. So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that I had made my first sale. Now, you will notice here as well that the amount of money that I've made from this first sale was that my product wasn't at all very expensive. And that's one of the beauties of digital products, because there's no manufacturing, there are no fulfillment costs, so you can basically price your product for whatever you want to price it for here. And what some people might try and do is that they might try and undercut the market, and that's sort of what I try to do here. Actually, that's exactly what I did here. My plan was, once the store was up and running, getting some traction, I would slowly increase the prices in line with similar products. But I really wanted to see if I could stimulate sales by undercutting the market. And if I'm honest, I didn't see a massive difference here, to be honest with you, because whether I put my prices up or I made my products as cheap as possible, I didn't see a drastic effect on my sales. And that is maybe an important takeaway for you. You might not always want to be the cheapest product in the market, because you might be leaving a lot of money on the table. Because I think that if people really like your product, they will pay you whatever they think the product is worth. Another key observation here is that I was running ads. You will see that the vast majority of the traffic I was getting to the store at this point were coming directly from Etsy ads. As a matter of fact, my first sale also came directly from an ad click. Now, if you watched my previous video about my print-on-demand store, you will know that none of my sales came from family or friends. Yeah, the family and friends thing, it is still a bit of a sore point. I'm still trying to sort that out, but you know, we move on. So if we scale this up to 30 days, so a full month of being on Etsy, you will see that, yeah, I was getting some more sales, but the sales weren't actually blowing up. And this is despite me running a lot of ads on Etsy. I think I was maybe spending about $5 a day on Etsy ads. You will notice though that my conversion rate in my first month wasn't too bad. It was around about 3%, which was actually better than my print-on-demand store. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna scale this up to another 2 weeks, so about 6 weeks after being on Etsy. You'll notice that my conversion rate has gone up to about 6%. I made a few more sales Now, the revenue, it is still nothing to write home about, but what you can see here is that I am able to convert a significant amount of people that I am driving to my Etsy store. And for me, that was the most encouraging thing. I could definitely see some positives. The revenue was something that we need to work on. I was still pricing these products really cheaply, so I started to slowly increase them in line with similar products. Another way that I could perhaps increase the average selling price per product is to create bundles of maybe the best selling products, and that might help me to increase the average price that someone pays for a product. I am not a fan of Etsy ads, but if you start an Etsy store in 2023 and you're looking to start getting sales really quickly, then turning on Etsy ads is almost a requirement. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck on the back pages. When I started my print-on-demand store a couple of years ago, I was able to start generating sales without turning on any Etsy ads whatsoever. But what I want to tell you today is competition on Etsy today is very different to what it was 2 years ago. There are a lot more sellers and they're all turning on ads. So if you're not turning on ads, you will be stuck and hidden, and it will be a lot harder for you to start making sales. And what you want to do with ads is to use ads to get your product listings to start ranking a lot faster in Etsy search results. The main thing that Etsy uses to determine ranking is velocity. It wants to see that you're getting sales and people are engaging with your product listings. This is what it uses to get you ranked higher in their search results. And this is really hard to do if you're stuck on the back pages, because if you're on the back pages, people won't buy your product, people won't be engaging with your product, and you could have the best product in the world. If nobody sees it, then you won't sell any. So once your product is ranked in Etsy's organic search results, you can start to turn off Etsy ads. And that is the exact strategy that I used for this shop. For the first few weeks, I was running ads. Now I've turned them off, and I did see a slowdown in my sales directly after I turned off Etsy ads, but I think my listings had built up enough velocity, so Etsy started to place my listings in their organic search results, so I'm now starting to see sales again. And I'm not saying you should splash out and spend a lot of money on Etsy ads. You can spend as little as $5 or even $1 per day. If you look on my ads, you can see that I was just breaking even, so I was just using this as a tool to get my products ranked. So essentially, I'm using the sales that I'm getting to fund the early investment in my business, so you can start your side hustle for little or no money at all. Now, there's one other thing that I think can help with velocity without you spending any money whatsoever, and that is your customer feedback. If customers are raving about your products and leaving reviews, Etsy sees this as a good thing, so it will start to list products from your shop higher in its search results. And a good, easy and cheap or free way of doing this is to communicate with your customers frequently. So far, from the 20 odd sales or so that I've gotten, I was able to get 9 customers to leave positive feedback on my Etsy store just by communicating frequently with them. And all I was doing here is that when they made a purchase from me, I would drop a message saying, "Thank you for your purchase. I hope you're happy with the product. Let me know if I can do anything to help." Most times they'll come back saying, "Thank you, really like the product," and then they'll go and leave me a positive feedback as well. And this is something which I think is cheap or free for you to do to increase the velocity of your product listings in Etsy search results, because Etsy loves it when you provide an excellent customer service. 2 of the things that Etsy uses to assess if you're a star seller is your message response times and your feedback score. So if you consistently get high customer feedback and you are communicating with your customers, then you will eventually qualify for Etsy's star seller status. Now, you must have heard before that Etsy is a numbers game. The more product listings that you have, the more likely it is that you're going to make a sale. Now, that's not the only reason why you should list a lot of products on Etsy. The biggest advantages of listing consistently and listing lots of products on Etsy is that Etsy will see that you're taking your shop seriously, but it also gives you an opportunity to test different things. You will be able to see what works and what doesn't work. And listing products consistently is not really hard to do. All you need to be doing is Create a product listing and you can create different variations of that product listing. So you can change the background color, you can create bundles. You do not need to find a brand new product listing for every listing that you create. So the best thing about this side hustle is that anybody can do this. All you need is somebody who is willing to pose as the model. This could be you, it could be your partner, it could be your kid, it could be your mom, your dad, your friend. It doesn't matter who it is. As long as you've got somebody who's willing to pose as a model, this is an easy side hustle that I think anybody can do. So let me know in the comments what you think. Now, thank you for watching and I will see you on the next one.